Welcome, Thunderbird Nation, to the annual signing day special. I'm your host, Jon Smith. With me, we got Coach DeLane Fitzgerald. We got a very important person with us. Coach Darrius Smith is with us.
VIP over here today.
VIP, baby. Yeah. And also, for those that are listening on podcast only, a great radio voice. Smooth, sexy. All the things he's not in real life. Hey. No, that's not true either. That's not true. That was a lie.
But he says I'm the train coming down the track.
Hey, remember y'all said y'all wanted to keep this in a nice time frame.
No, you're right.
Brother Smith, you're looking a little tan for February.
Yeah, I've been at it.
You've been at
the golf
what?
Course.
On the golf course.
Rehabbing the elbow. I'm back. Things are good. Getting a little vitamin D on the skin. Life is good.
How's your game?
It doesn't matter. It's okay. Still working towards still trying to get 1% better, just like your football players
There
every
we
day.
go. Starts out mocking me.
That's not a all right. It's going to be that one of those years.
It's going to be it's going to be
Darius,
one of those
it's going to
days.
be one of those years. Coach, we're excited. We got new Thunderbirds coming to Cedar City. We've got some that we signed back in the December timeline. This is months and months and months and sometimes years of preparation that goes into this. A lot of people don't know, but we'll cover a little bit of that on the show today. We'll go and highlight everyone that's going to be coming to Southern Utah University to play football for the Thunderbirds. But can you give us just a quick 2-minute, I know it's not a 2-minute thing, but a 2-minute overview on how this works. You guys get out on the road. You guys get after these kids. Can you tell us a little bit about the backside of the recruiting that maybe the people don't know?
Yeah, the first Wednesday in February used to be a huge day because it used to be the only signing day of the year. The NCAA has moved it to now there's 2 signing days. So we have one in early December and then we have one in early February. It's still a big day for these young men. Really, really excited about our class, John. You wanted to know a little bit about the process.
Yeah.
With some of these young men, we start talking to them, their sophomore year and they're coming to camps during the summer and we're getting to watch them in person and we're getting to watch their film and just kind of make their acquaintance. And then they get into their junior year and it starts to heat up a little bit. And then as you get into their senior year, then you're talking to the young men once a week, once every 2 weeks. You try to get to a game when the NCAA will allow you to get to a game, which is, after the month of August, starting in September. We try to get to a game and see them. You have them on campus for junior day, John. They get to meet your players, your coaches. They're on campus for an entire day. They're back here in the summer for a one-day camp. And then you just put your best foot forward and hope that they like what you have to offer. They like you as a person. They like your coaching staff. They like the players. They like the facilities. And they decide to spend the best 4 years of their life at your institution of higher learning.
The best 4 years under the tutelage of these great gentlemen. They make a lot of men out of boys. And
when he says it that way, I think they all ought to just renege on their.
I know that one didn't sound quite right.
No, well, maybe not to you, but to me, from my perspective, you guys, like I said, you make a lot of men out of boys, and that's one of the things that you're proud of, I'm sure, is bringing them through those kind of pivotal years coming out of high school. Teaching them the Thunderbird way, how we do things here at Southern Utah University, and then obviously getting them to the point where they've got the best options for success after school.
Absolutely,
we appreciate you saying that, John. This best signing class in FCS football today.
Hey,
great one.
Let's go. Well, should we just dig right into it?
Let's go.
All right. We're gonna start. By the way, moms and dads, if I butcher names, I apologize. That's not my intent. My intent's to respect the heritage. We'll do our very best. But let's start with the December class that came in a little early. And let's start with Jack Beardall, 6'2", 290, O-lineman out of East Lake High School in Sammamish, Washington. Let's talk a little bit about Jack.
Yeah, man, offensive line, we're always trying to find those big guys. So we got a first-team offensive guy coming out of Sammamish, Washington, also played a little bit of D-line. So, big young man, versatile, So we're going to try to use them a little for our purposes on our offensive line. So some of the losses that we had with losing 3 seniors, and again keep that room developing as much as we possibly can.
Love it.
Jack visited campus multiple times, so had him here with Mom, had him here with Dad. That big, good-looking young man who plays both ways, and that was really, really important to us. Offensive linemen that play offense and defense become a priority for us. It makes them easier to become elite offensive linemen.
Versatile.
Athletic.
Yeah. Let's move to Ashton
Wysokinski.
Wysokinski is what I was going to say.
I don't know if I got that exactly right.
I think you did.
Out of Southern Maryland, the home of Coach Smith, and Ashton was here last spring and really, really enjoyed having him and his family on campus. Ashton is a defensive end / tight end out of Leonardtown, Maryland, one of the better players in that school's history, and led them to back-to-back 2 of the best seasons that high school's had with him as a junior and senior. We're excited about Ashton. John, right now Ashton's penciled in to play the defensive end position. There is also a chance that he may end up playing tight end for us.
See a little action at tight end.
Yeah, great. Has the frame to become a really good college football player. Smart young man, great GPA.
Fantastic. The next up, Kealamaka-Hiki. I was close. Last name Lou. I like that one. 6'3", 225, defensive end. He played there at Bishop Gorman High School, but hometown St. George, Utah. And let's talk a little bit about Mr. Lou.
Again, defensive end made of Wysokinski, coming out from perennial power down there in Nevada, Bishop Gorman.
Big school,
big name. Good product for us. Hopefully one of those deals where we can start getting a pipeline of those caliber athletes coming up this way in the city. I think he's going to be a big plus for our defensive end room, coming off the edge, big-time bender. It's going to make a lot of plays for us.
Yeah, I saw some tape on him, and the young man can get after it, and he likes contact a lot. That's what
one of the things we have to improve upon is rushing the passer, and Lou's going to be able to rush the passer for us.
Love to hear it. Shane Klingelberg, 6'4", 240 defensive end out of Chaparral High School in Temecula, California. First team All-Big West. Let's talk about Mr. Klingelberg.
Yeah, first player in the 25 signing class to sign with us, first player to commit to us. Him and his family made the recruiting process relatively easy. Really enjoyed having them on campus and hosting them when they were here. Shane was here on a visit, and then he was back here for a game this fall. Good player, good family. Shane's got an opportunity to be a dominant defensive end at this level for us. He's also got an opportunity, if his body tells us that he's going to grow into a 3 technique, he's got a chance to bump down and be a really good 3 technique. John, excited about what he's going to contribute to our defensive line over the next 4 years.
Sounds to me like he made his mind up. He was loyal to the process, and he's wanted to be a T-Bird since day one.
Mm-hmm. That's the way I saw it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Zane Reed out of Francis Parker, San Diego, California. Another guy I saw some tape on. He can really move. He's an athlete. Plays some rugby.
He's an athlete. Played a little bit of rugby. First team All Pacific League guy. Also special teams player of the year in the Pacific League. So he's an athlete that can probably help us on both sides of the ball, but definitely gives us some depth and a natural return guy back there.
Excellent.
We thought Zane was under recruited. Thought we got a little bit of a steal there. Time will tell. Time will tell if we made a good decision on him or not. But we thought more people should have been recruiting him, and they didn't. We're happy to have him.
Excellent. Next up, we got Sean Brooks, corner out of Cathedral in L.A. First team All Angeles League, 2-time Division III track champ. So we got it sounds to me like we got a dude that can fly. Tell us about Sean Brooks.
Sean, again, another guy that can run, good track times coming out of high school. And then another long arm, versatile athlete, looking at possibly playing him at a defensive back spot, possibly a corner. But again, a player that with length, long levers, can really get it done in the secondary for us, and also has really good ball skills.
Excellent.
One of our newly hired DB coaches made the comment that Sean had a lot of interceptions, came up with a lot of turnovers in high school, and he said people that intercept the ball in high school usually intercept the ball in college. And if that reigns true, Sean will have a good career.
Awesome. Ball hawk. Next, we got Tavian Edwards, a safety out of Sky Ridge here in Utah. Lehigh, Utah, 2-year captain, big-time letterman in a bunch of sports, football and track, and then 3-time all-region player Tavian Edwards.
Again, Tavian concentrated a lot, heavy on the defensive back, but one of the things that we admired about him was his character for playing. And when you get a 2-year captain, so you've been voted by your peers twice as a junior and a senior, with that production, then, it helps improve the locker room. But again, a very good athlete, very physical player, and again, 7-time letterman, track and football. So again, we increased in the athleticism department.
Excellent.
Tavian made plays on both sides of the ball. Tavian played on special teams, made plays on special teams. Tough, hard-nosed young man. Does he have to get a step faster? Yes. A step quicker, I should say. We're going to work that. And, John, if that happens for him, with his toughness and football knowledge, he got a chance to be a really good college football player. We're excited.
Yeah, Sky Ridge is a great program here in Utah, and it seems like the guys that are coming out of there do well at the next level. They must have some good coaching there at Sky Ridge. Next, we got Michael Ernest, 6'4", 285, O-lineman out of Mountain View there in Orem, Utah. Another Utah kid. I love to see that trend, picking up the local boys and bringing them down to southern Utah. Let's talk a little bit about Michael Ernest.
I'm going to err on the side of most people when they do their height and weight. They lie about how tall they are and they lie about what they weigh.
I do.
he might have undersold his.
Oh,
I know this. Kid. I know Michael's dad's 6'7", 6'8", which factored into us recruiting him as hard as we did.
Yeah.
Michael's going to go on and serve his 2-year church mission, and he's going to come off his church mission. He's going to be 6'6", 6'7". He's going to be 300 pounds. He's going to be exactly what we're looking for. Again, plays both offense and defense. Michael has clips on his highlight tape of him running around at whatever it is, 6'5", 280. He's playing special teams. So really impressed us with his athleticism and his potential. We're excited.
Excellent. We've got Manasa Pela out of Highland High School here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Let's talk a little bit about Manasa.
Again, versatility is one of the things that we were concentrating on. So you got a guy that played offense and defense. We're going to try to specialize him as a linebacker.
Okay.
But, first team all-region kid, first team all-academic also, so he's smart. He's going to get things done for you. A guy that we can see in the future possibly making calls for us, things of that nature.
Excellent.
In the old days, you used to recruit. That was the recruiting thing. You recruited quarterback / linebackers, and it's gone away as kids specialize. And in 2025, you never see that combination. But he was a starting quarterback at his high school and the starting linebacker, and was their best player on offense, best player on defense. Now that he's getting to play just linebacker, he's got an opportunity to be pretty darn good.
That's awesome. Next up, we got Ethan Wagner, 6'5", 285 out of Apple Valley, California. Looks like an offensive tackle. All-conference player. It looks like we got some size coming in at those positions. Tell us a little bit about Ethan Wagner.
Okay, the thing you can't coach size and speed.
No, you can't.
And we concentrated on those. We concentrated on those in the recruiting process. Again, Ethan's another big long arm guy. Played high school tackle. Could he be a tackle for us? Maybe move to guard. Not sure, but what we can do is he's going to be able to solidify our line in a couple of years. And maybe a young man that could possibly help us out in the future as we go into this upcoming season. That still remains to be seen, but that size is huge for us.
Love it.
Yeah, Apple Valley, which is that the closest town in California? Has to be about the closest civilization in California from here.
From here, okay.
Yeah, from here. So the first town you get to when you cross the Cal line. But really enjoyed him and his mom and dad. Mom, dad, and stepdad enjoyed having him on campus when they were here. Ethan is a two-sport star, so he's a really good baseball player, really good football player. His best football's ahead of him.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, he's going to be our starting left tackle or right tackle.
I love to see multi-sport athletes because you can get so much from other sports that can help you in football, that can help you in life, and it's good to see those kids getting a little well-rounded out there instead of just focusing on that one thing, get burned out. It's nice to have a multi-sport athlete, and it sounds like we got a bunch of them here on the list. Mm-hmm. Let's move down to Antonio Algan, 6'5", 265, out of Glendale, Arizona, Cactus High School.
Out of Cactus High School. Again, big offensive lineman, 6'5" in height, 265 or better coming out of high school, long arms. And traditionally, again, played the tackle spot in high school. Possibly kid we can also move in, but again, we're we're making sure that we're bringing in that size and talent and athleticism in the initial part of the signing class.
Excellent.
I thought he was a really good player. Think we've got a steal there. He's got a chance to come in here and play early and play often. Big, good-looking kid, great feet.
Awesome.
Very athletic, can move his feet for the tackle position.
Next up, we got Sina Afemui, 6'1", 210, linebacker out of Bingham High School. Another Utah get. I love to see the Utah kids, man. That just means you're beating Weber, you're beating Tech, you're beating all these guys.
Such a cliche for you Utah people.
I know, us Utah people.
Such a cliche.
You know, you're one of us for now.
I've been called a lot worse.
Yeah, Sina Afemui, coach.
Yeah, good linebacker, very, very aggressive downhill player. Really made a difference in his high school football program when they were blitzing him, when they were bringing him on pressures. He's really, really good. Cena's going to go serve his church mission, so we'll get him back in 2 years, and he'll be bigger and stronger. We're excited about him when we get him back.
Next up, we got Rand Sawyer out of Dixie High School, St. George, Utah. Plays running back, but it looks like when I watched his tape, he was playing a little corner and covering the slot and a few different things on defense as well. 5'9", 185. The thing I remember about Rand Sawyer, dude, he's like a little lightning bolt, man. Like, he's fast on the top speed, but he's got a little wiggle to him. Let's talk a little bit about Rand Sawyer.
You said it exactly right. Got a lot of wiggle, got a lot of speed, very versatile. You know, when you watch his film, you see what he can do with the ball in his hands. Plus, I mean, he's aggressive. And usually high school running backs, they want to be aggressive with the ball in hand, but not when they don't have it. You know, he plays a little bit on defense, special teams. He's exciting to watch.
Played in all three phases as good a running back in the Western United States this year. Thought he was the best running back in the state of Utah. Happy as heck to have him. High academic young man. He's coming in here with a 3.7 GPA, and we're excited about that. He's also a local product. He's from Utah, John. Yeah, you didn't even say it. He's from Utah.
I did say it. He was from Dixie.
Hey, no matter where you're from in Utah, St. George don't count. The country of
it's nice to bring him up to God's country, up the mountain, here to Cedar City.
Bring him up the hill. Rand's going to do a nice job. Rand's got an opportunity to play early and often for us because he can play offense, he can play defense, he can return kicks. Got a chance to make an impact early for us.
That's awesome. Let's change gears here a little. We've got the early signees there. Those guys, a lot of them were early and signed there in December. And what a great class. A few missionaries are going to go out. Some kids are going to get on campus here in the summertime. But we got some kids on campus now, transfers and the like, that are maybe guys that came off their missions. Let's talk a little bit about the guys that just got here in January. Some transfers we'll talk about, and we'll talk about some return missionary kids. Let's start, Coach, with Jonah Lewis out of UNR, Nevada, Reno, a DB coming to us from his hometown is Granada Hills, California.
Yeah, transfer from Nevada, Reno, spent a year there. Went into the portal, and we really liked what we saw from him and enjoyed his mom and dad on the visit, and think that Jonah has an opportunity to develop into a contributor in our football program. But he's here with us now and been with us. We've been in school for a month, so he's been here for a month, and he's lifting and running and getting ready for spring ball, and we're excited about Jonah.
Awesome. We got another transfer that came in from Montana State. That's Blake Stillwell, 6', 190. He's a DB out of Winter Garden, Florida. I talked to Blake and I said, "Man, what are you doing in Montana State and Utah?" I mean, Florida, Winter Park, Florida is like the most removed from cold.
It's only
mountains.
a couple. Yeah, that's only a couple of his stops now.
Yeah, he's been around.
Yeah, Blake's college career, he's seen the country. So he started in the Northeast and then went to JUCO in Texas, I think, or maybe a JUCO in California, or maybe both. and then Montana State, and now us. But he's getting it all in his so-called 4 years of college.
He's just seeing the country.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Blake had a good season.
Excited to see him.
Yeah, Blake had a good season in JUCO. which landed him a scholarship at Montana State. He played well at Montana State for 1 year, got banged up last year and didn't play a whole lot. We brought him in out of the transfer portal over Christmas break. Blake's got 1 year to play. He's a senior this fall, so he's going to get a spring and a fall with us. And our hope is that he's going to flash and have one really, really good year for us also.
Just let it all hang out.
Let it all go.
Yep. Love to hear it. After Blake, we've got Sebastian Adamski, 6'2", 225 out of Drake, a linebacker. And his hometown is listed as Sahuarita.
South of Tucson, Arizona.
Sahuarita?
He's on the border. But Sebastian Adamski. Sebastian signed with Drake out of high school, played 4 years at Drake, graduated from Drake, was their leader on defense last year. Drake upset Eastern Washington. They beat somebody else they weren't supposed to beat that had scholarships. They won the Pioneer League and then went to the playoffs, and we're up on Tarleton. We're up on our rival Tarleton State, a touchdown or two in the playoffs. John, I think Sebastian, he goes by CB, but I think CB finished the season with 108 tackles. Just running sideline to sideline, tackling everybody he saw. Really liked the young man's personality and his work ethic, and I don't have a negative to say about him. Not that I would if I had it. But I can't. Anyway. Yeah, I can't think of a negative about him right now. We're excited about what he can do, and he's here in grad school, so he's here 1 year to play his graduate year, and we're excited.
Yeah, his tape, I noticed that he's just tenacious. Like, even if the play goes past, he follows it. I noticed he was finishing a bunch of plays all the way through to the whistle, not giving up on anything. And he actually, sometimes that action comes back to you,
sure,
and he's ready and ready to go. So I really loved his pursuit. Now we've got now this is cut off on my sheet, but Lincoln, is it Tuioti Martin?
Mariner.
Mariner. Okay,
sorry. Mariner.
Sorry, Lincoln. I know Lincoln.
Lincoln
I've
Mariner.
met Lincoln. Lincoln Mariner. Great young man out of the Air Force Academy. He's a transfer from the Air Force Academy out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Going to play some nickel for us?
Nickelback / Will Backer. Lincoln's born and raised in Colorado, signed with Air Force, had 50-plus tackles for Air Force last year at the nickel position, and Lincoln does a lot of things on the field well. Got to improve his change of direction so he's better in man coverage, but Lincoln's going to run around and make a bunch of plays for us in the 2 years that he has left to play. We're excited about him. I don't know if we have anybody on the team that's working harder.
Yeah,
off the field, working harder in the weight room and working harder in conditioning than Lincoln is.
Yeah, he gets after it. And he's also just a really nice young man. Like, he's the kind of guy that looks you in the eye and is respectful.
It's that military and got the Air Force in. Looks you in the eye.
He must be really nice if he says that and he's not from Utah.
And I'm a Navy brat, so I grew up in the military, so I just appreciate where he's coming from and his service in the Air Force.
That's where John's at in his program. Regan, he's just going to ignore every time I take a jab at him. He just keep on keeping on.
If I had to address all the jabs, Reagan, we would be here for 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. We're trying to keep this show limited, baby.
Yeah. While the sun shines, Coach. Trayvon Swanigan, 6'3", 270, D tackle out of Coastal Carolina. Home was Salt Lake City, Utah. So coming back home, tell us a little bit about Trayvon.
Trayvon coming from Coastal, again, bringing him back to Utah. What we saw him in the transfer portal, again, size, length, the ability to make some serious impact. We've talked about getting the offensive line, reestablishing the line of scrimmage. He's a young man that we think can do that for us.
Powerful.
Trayvon showed up here banged up, and it's something that we've got to get resolved. But when healthy, he's explosive. He can run. He can play. He can play the 3 technique, which is what we need him to play when we're in an even front. And when we go odd, he can stay in and play some defensive end for us also when he's healthy.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully he gets back on his feet and gets healthy.
John, Trayvon out of high school went to Snow, had a big year at Snow, signed a scholarship at Coastal Carolina. I don't think him and the girlfriend enjoyed being away from home as much as they thought they would, and we were able to lure him to Cedar City, and we're happy about it.
That's a good sales job, Coach. William Burns, 6'2", 205. He's a quarterback out of Golden West. He's got an interesting story. You want to give us the abridged version?
And so Will graduates high school early and goes to Texas Tech, and which should be his senior year in baseball. He's actually playing off and on for Texas Tech, who's pretty darn good in baseball. comes back in what should be his freshman year. He's a starting shortstop at Texas Tech and starts all the super regional games, starts all 4 super regional games for him at the shortstop position. Finished up that they lost out in the super regionals, finished up, and as college kids out west do, they go to the Wooden Bat League up in Alaska to play for the summer. He went up in the Wooden Bat League and played all summer, and on his way home from Alaska decided, you know what, I really miss football. I'm not going back to Texas Tech. So went to Golden West with no weightlifting and no preparation, and was the team MVP and was a conference MVP, and threw for a bunch of yards and ran for a bunch of yards, and said, you know what, maybe college football is for me.
I'm jealous of William Burns. Will, you just kind of got it, and you can apply it to wherever you're at.
Just kind of go here, there, and everywhere.
Man,
be pretty good at it.
Excited to see what he can do here.
We got a tip. Well, we got a tip from a good friend that Will was on his way to a ski trip in Utah. Matt managed to get him and the people that were with him on the ski trip to pull off on the side of the road and talk with us for a couple hours. So they stopped in Cedar City and met with us, and Will's here. Will's here and working out, and Will is already pushing for playing time at the quarterback position and going to be a factor at that position from here on out. But Jon, nice young man, good athlete.
How many years eligibility with the baseball and the football? How does that all work out?
Will should be 3 for 3.
Got 3 for 3.
Should be.
Cool. Next up, we got Miles Almy, 6'2", 235. He was at Arizona State. Is
Miles
that correct? Amy. I apologize to the Amy family.
Arizona State. Dad's one of the coaches on the Arizona State staff.
Okay. I know what we're talking about now. Sorry. It took me a minute to click. Yeah.
After the game in 2023, we get a little more respect from the Arizona State kids in the portal.
I bet you do.
That's funny how that works.
Yeah. You go give them a black eye, and then all of a sudden you're okay to hang out with in the block.
We're okay. Yeah. Miles was looking for a place to play, wanted to get on the field.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed having him and his mom up on his recruiting visit. But we were able to talk Miles into coming here. You want to talk about him a little bit as a player?
As a player, very versatile. I have the inside knowledge with knowing their strength coach, Joe Conley, there, because we worked together at UMass. And one first thing he told us, you guys are getting a steal. You guys are getting a steal. So athletically, he fits the bill with the height and size. Now it's just going to be watching him put it together on the playing field.
Yeah, love it. We went to the Arizona State Bank again. We got Cy Candielli, 6'4", 270 O-lineman, Mesa, Arizona, but transfer from Arizona State University. Let's talk about Cy.
Again, going back to those offensive linemen, looking for those long arm guys, and like you said, we go down there a year ago and put a good showing up. We're very interesting to those guys that were looking to transfer now, and they obviously Cy felt that he was somebody could come in and help us play. Offensive line, it was where, again, we were going to need some help. So having that immediate impact of a possible transfer portal young man was very key in our recruiting process.
Yeah, sometimes you need some time to develop a kid. Sometimes you need a plug and play. And obviously with the transfer portal the way it is, there's sometimes we need to go find a guy that can play today. And Cy looks like he's working towards that.
We like hunger. We like hungry young men. It doesn't matter whether they're high school players or transfers. We want people that have a hunger and a desire to be really good on and off the field. And both Miles, Amy, and Cy Candielli, but both of them fit that mold. Are there some rough edges for us to polish off? Yeah, absolutely. That people transfer for a reason.
Yeah.
But we thought the rough edges that they need polished on were things that we could really, really help them with.
Sure. So those are pretty much the transfers. We hit the transfer players.
We're missing 3.
We got 3.
So you got on.
AJ Tillman.
Correct.
Okay.
AJ Tillman, running back from Snow. We're going to try to see if we can hit it again for the running back from Snow College.
We got a good record so far.
So far, we got a good record on that.
Yeah, let's see if we can go 2 for 2 on that.
If we can go 2 for 2 on that, I'd be very happy, very blessed. Hey.
Another Utah kid from Layton, Utah.
By way of where?
Dun, 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 dun.
By way of Snow College.
Born and raised just outside of Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh man,
that's
the best. That's the best fit ever.
The best
Maryland
combination.
And Utah
the best
together?
combination.
Wow,
yeah, it is.
Dad got a job transfer to the Salt Lake City area, so they moved when he was 11, 12 years old.
Okay.
We went to high school in that northern Salt Lake area. AJ did a nice job splitting time at tailback at Snow College, very similar to the young man that's leaving here now.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. And AJ walks right into our weight room, and he's one of the harder working, stronger young men in the weight room. And we're excited about him and what he has a chance to do for the next 2 years for us at the running back position.
Exciting. We got Jacoby Spence. He's an athlete out of Sterling College down there in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's talk a little bit about Jacoby Spence.
Well, like you said, he coming out of high school, ended up going to Sterling College in high school. And, we talked to some of his coaches down there, and it was one of those things that this is the one that everybody missed out on. And, he was not happy down there, reached out to us. And when you watch his high school tape and his film, again, a very versatile, athletic young man, and he looks like it too when you see him. His body, his presence screams athlete. So,
Yeah.
It's exciting to see what he's going to be able to do for us on the field.
So is he like a return guy, receiver, corner? Like,
He's
where
a
do you
corner.
see him?
He's a corner.
Corner.
But in high school, he did all three. Mm-hmm. He went to Sterling College, John, as a freshman, and he started for him at corner. He played on offense for him, and he returned kicks. Athletic. If he'll get his head on straight and get dialed in and focused, got a chance to be a really good player at our level. If he doesn't get his head on straight, he's going to break the national record for up, downs, and bear crawls in his career here. Jacoby, if you're watching, I would advise you to focus, be on time, go to class, get all your study hall hours in. Let's do it. Let's do it right.
This is the part we were talking about, turning boys into men, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you got to get
Absolutely.
responsibility for your actions. You got to make sure that it's not just about you; it's about the team.
Early on, he's got Gavin Lavatt, the Frostburg State legend. He's got him very, very worried that his bear crawling record is going to fall.
It's gonna fall. That's all right, Jacoby. Onwards and upwards.
Jacoby, he's being nice to you. You're a very talented young man.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to do everything else right, too.
And then we got Sean Mays. Sean, I've seen tape of Sean. He's a pretty special kid. Sean Mays, corner out of Santa Barbara City College.
John, when I was in like second grade, the teachers called my parents in and told my parents I was special. You think they were talking about the same thing?
No, I do not.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
I don't think they were talking about the same thing, Coach.
Just make sure. I was checking.
Yeah.
I thought maybe it was a compliment all these years later.
I like that you could take it as a compliment back then and really build off that.
I was pretty sure it wasn't.
Yeah, but
I was pretty sure it was a negative.
Get him talking about Sean Mays. Y'all going to take this in a whole other direction.
Sean jumps out on the tape. Let's talk about Sean Mays.
Jacoby Spence and Sean Mays. Jacoby Spence and Sean Mays are as athletic or more athletic than anybody we currently have on our team. If a track meet broke out, they would do really, really well. And if a basketball game broke out, they do really, really well. Just two young men that can run and play. We brought them in to help improve our DB position. We weren't as good as we should have been at the defensive backfield last year, and they were brought in to improve it. But Sean, you said, talking about him being special, Sean walks in a room and he's 6'3.5", and he can jump out of the room, whatever room he walks into. Sean has to get a little bigger, and Sean has to get a little stronger, but we're excited about what he can do. California Junior College corner last year, did really, really well, John, and now he's here with 3 years to play.
Fantastic. Out of the Fort Worth, Texas area.
Originally out of Fort Worth, Texas.
Right. Does that cover the transfers? Did we get the transfers?
I think we got
covered?
them all.
And now we can hop to these kids probably signed today. The next batch we've got here.
That would be correct.
Yeah, would be correct.
Yeah, starting with so these are the newest minted T-Birds. We got Hubert Thomas, running back. I guess that's Netherlands, Texas. Netherlands, Texas. Let's talk about Hubert Thomas.
You're talking about a 2,000-yard rusher with 26 touchdowns, sitting right there in Texas, in the heart of the conference that we play in. So to have a young man like that, gain some interest from him, and then want him to come be a part of what we're trying to do.
Special.
All big time special. All in on that one.
Love it. We got Jacob Kalolo, 6'2", 225. Looks like he's coming in as a defensive end. El Camino, Lawndale, California. El Camino High School. He was the SCFA first team All-League. Let's talk about Jacob Cololo.
John, 2 years ago, Lando Brown was one defensive end at El Camino, and Jacob Cololo was the other defensive end. And they just ran sideline to sideline, wreaked havoc on offenses, and played really well. 2 effort guys. We know how hard Lando plays. He had 50-some tackles at the defensive end position for us last year.
Yeah.
But we know how hard Lando plays, and now he's going to have somebody across the ball from him that plays as hard. But excited about Jacob, and he's finishing up school at El Camino right now, and he'll join us this summer. Going to be a junior college guy, going to be a good player for us for 2 years.
Fantastic. We got Kassan Johnson up next, 5'11", 180, DB out of Inglewood, California, Inglewood High School, LA, California. Man, some of his stats: 80 tackles, 53 solo, 4 interceptions, first team all area, first team Bay League. Let's see. Tell us about Kassan Johnson.
So when you talk about Kassan, again, playing a defensive back role, 80 tackles, that lets you know right there.
Yeah.
He's not afraid to put his face in there, get in the mix, and play physical, the type of football that we like to play. Then obviously having 4 interceptions, he's got good ball skills, played a little bit on offense for, and then to be first team All Bay League in that area with those athletes, big time right there.
Love the young man. I think he's got a chance to be a whale of a player. The stats are accurate. 5'11", 180? No. No. Good try, though.
Is that standing on a phone book?
Here's George Ramirez is 5'8" and 3/4 and 180, and he was a really, really good player. So and Kashan's taller than that, but not much.
Got it. And then we got Isaac Staley, 6'5", 235, tight end out of Lone Peak, Highland, Utah.
Yeah, there's one that might be undercut. Isaac might be 6'5" and some change, 6'6". So, but he's tall drink of water.
Yeah, let's talk about him. What do you like?
Career quarterback. He's coming into his senior year, and he's big as a house. If he ever decides to flip the switch mentally and wants to be a mean young man, wants to be really aggressive on the field, he's going to be a great football player. But Isaac decided he wanted to play a bunch as a senior, so he moved to the tight end position, had a really good season for a young man that had only played the position 1 year. Isaac's going to go away and serve his 2-year church mission. We'll get him back in 2 years, and really, really excited about the opportunity he has to develop into a difference maker.
Awesome. Let's see. Leonitasi.
Leo. Just stop with Leo.
Leo.
Yeah.
Leo from Lehigh.
Ezekiel.
We had Leo on campus this weekend. He's a lot better football player than he is a bowler or an axe thrower. Leo will get a kick out of that, but
not a lot of practice axe throwing though. I mean, I've been there. It takes a minute.
How do you know?
Yeah, it takes a minute to get it.
Hey, in Lehigh, it might be a class there. It might be what they're doing.
Maybe you're right, Coach.
Yeah. Had Leo on campus and enjoyed having him and his family here. But good football player. Leo's going to go serve a 2-year church mission. We'll get him back in 2 years also. But going to be a good football player.
Coming at a good program. Lehigh, the last 3 or 4 years, really has turned it on. I don't know if it's the growth in the area or they got some coaching up there, but they're putting out some pretty good prospects.
Got good football players, and they're well coached there. The coach retired, so that last year was his last season, and we'll see how the program does without him.
Sure.
But thought that gentleman ran a nice program there.
And then we got Elijah Sherbin-Fox, 6'2", 210. Looks like a defensive end out of Desert Edge High School, Sickerville, New Jersey.
Desert Edge is high school. Was the high school he was at in Arizona, but he's
from New Jersey.
He wanted to make sure that we mentioned he's from Sicklerville, New Jersey.
Sickler, with an L, Sickler.
Yeah, military family. And John, there's Sean Mays is another one. We're partial to military kids because they do really well in our program and understand discipline and accountability. But he's a military young man, and he lived in South Jersey until they moved to Arizona.
Stations.
They moved to Arizona his sophomore year in high school.
I see. That's tough. That's kind of a tough time to move, but it sounds like he stayed on the radar and he's playing Division I football now. Good for him.
Yeah, we met on his athleticism, as athletic as anybody. We recruited all year, and he's got highlights playing quarterback and highlights playing receiver and highlights running the ball, and then he flips over and he's got highlights at the DB position, highlights at the linebacker position, and then John, where he really excels is rushing the passer. His people, they go, hey, his first step's really good, his first step, and Darrius will tell you maybe his first 3 steps are really, really quick.
Got some quickness, got some of that lane to him, so we can get to the quarterback. It's the first time I remember calling you saying, this kid, I'm looking at his tape, he's playing quarterback and wide receiver. What is he going to come play? And you said defensive end. And I said, that's the first time I've ever seen a wide receiver tape say that he's going to put his hand on the ground and be defensive end. But obviously he does have that really quick burst, and that's exciting. Let's talk about Isaiah Grant, 5'10", 160, wide receiver out of Lincoln, San Diego, California.
Okay, Isaiah, 32 receptions, 656 yards, 7 touchdowns. Another very versatile, dynamic athlete. Somebody that's also going to compete and help us in the return game as a kickoff punt returner. When you put his film on, you see that natural ability, that shaking, that baking, him really getting going. So again, excited to possibly work with him in all facets of the game, offense and special teams.
Fantastic.
Going to develop into a difference maker for us. The way he runs route and catches a ball, and then the fact that he can return kicks and punts.
Got the afterburners.
He does.
He's fast. Antonio Walton, 5'10", 160, wide receiver out of Cathedral. They're in L.A. 3-star recruit, all-state playoff nominee, first-team all-league, dynamic guy. Let's talk a little bit about Antonio Walton.
Again, when we're looking at those athletes, trying to make sure that receiving core is locked down and solid with good talent, good length, good speed, good ball skills. So, again, 43 receptions, 6 touchdowns. Again, biggest thing, helps out in the return game. Had over 926 all-purpose yards. So that's offensive and return game. Wow. So, again, dynamic with the ball in his hands.
And John, if need be, if it happens, he can play defensive back in college also.
Awesome. Parker Vance, 6'2", 200, Granite Hills High School out of El Cajon, California. Defensive Player of the Year, first team All-CIF, second team All-State in California. That's pretty awesome. DB, let's talk about Parker Vance.
Yeah, Parker committed early to play baseball at TCU. So one of the best high school baseball players in the western United States. Really, really good baseball player. As time went on in high school, he come to the conclusion that he didn't want to give up football, was going to miss football, miss the physicality of it, miss game day, miss the atmosphere, the whole thing. Yeah. And decided that he was going to go to college and play football. We feel fortunate that we were able to get in on the recruiting process with Parker, and he's got an opportunity. He's got an opportunity to help us on special teams right away, and he's got an opportunity to get in the mix at the safety position early on.
Excellent. Lincoln Gilson, out of Morgan, Utah. Wide receiver, 6 foot, 185. They won the state championship, 1,647 all-purpose yards and 27 touchdowns.
Yeah, led Morgan County to the state title. Lincoln's going to go away and serve a 2-year church mission for us. Lincoln, good football player. Going to have to be an effort guy. Going to have to be a high motor, high effort guy. But we expect Lincoln to be a contributor here when he gets back from his mission.
Coach, let's move on. We've got some return missionaries coming back off their service. Let's talk a little bit about them. Looks like we got 4 of those that are coming to join us. Let's talk about Jackson Griffiths. He's 6'3", 225, D-end out of Crimson Cliffs. They're in Washington, Utah.
Yeah, Jackson's a big, strong young man coming to us from St. George and Crimson Cliffs High School, and we're excited about him. He's been on his mission for 2 years, and he's with us now, been with us for the last month, and he's working out and running, and we're excited about that. Jackson's got a chance to make an impact for us on the defensive line early and often.
Right away.
Yep.
And then we got Josh Sanders, 6'2", 195 receiver out of Wasatch High School in Heber City, Utah. Let's talk about Josh. Is he the guy that I was asking you about yesterday?
He is.
Yes.
He's good looking. I mean, all right, never mind. We'll let you guys talk about him. But
you hit the nail on the head. He's a good player.
Yeah, he's a good looking dude.
Good looking player, 6'2".
He can move, and he's got a lot of energy. Like, he's the one that's going to run from drill to drill. He just seems like he is so excited to be out on the football field and let his talent show.
And that's the type of excitement you want, especially from those return missionaries. Yeah, they're coming back off the mission, excited about playing football, excited about being a part of the team. But you hit it on the head. Big, long kid, long arms, and can run a little bit, and he plays with energy. He's going to be an energetic force.
Yeah, I love it. Logalima Lesa, 6'2", 225, a backer from Provo High School in Provo, Utah.
Yeah, Longer was an impact player at his high school, an impact player all the way through. I'll never forget his recruiting trip because mom and dad have 13 kids. God bless them. But really enjoyed having them and Longa on campus 2 years ago. He served his 2-year church mission, and now he's back. Longa is working himself back into shape, but we expect him to contribute on special teams for us early, and we expect him to play some at linebacker.
Fantastic. And then we got Aaron Jones, DB out of Westview High School, Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
No, you go ahead because you know the story good.
The story's too
More
long.
stories.
Yeah.
All the story's too long. Dad's born and raised in Camden County, Georgia, which is the opposite end of Georgia from here. But coming off of his dad's 2-year church mission, he came to BYU and played football. Met his wife there. They spent some time in Utah, but they ended up in Portland, Oregon. Aaron finished his high school career. He played at Pleasant Grove for a while, so he's a Utah guy. John, you can like him. You can like him because he's from Utah.
I like the in-state tuition coach. I'm looking at the numbers.
Aaron finished his career in Portland, Oregon. Good football player. Was on his mission, and Will Snowden kind of tuned us into him and let me know that he was out there and he was available. And we're happy to have Aaron with us. And so far, so good. Over the first 4 weeks that he's been here, a good athlete and a better young man, which is what we're looking for.
Fantastic. Coach, did we miss anybody, or is anybody
Sure we did.
That's kind of like maybe that we just need to remark about while we got some time?
We missed we missed somebody on here, and we'll apologize in advance. We still love you, even though we missed you. But some walk-ons. You're not allowed to comment on people until they're signed up for school and accepted and registered for class and paid their deposit and all that good stuff. But we had a couple of Utah players that have committed to playing for us and walking on, and we're excited about them. And then there's a big, good-looking tight end that can run out of Oklahoma that we're really excited about him and about him joining us. You know, as tight end heavy as our offense is,
sure,
we'll take all the tight ends we can get, and especially ones that can run.
Yeah, anybody that's tall and big and can run, you're welcome here.
That's it.
Coach, just to kind of wrap things up, we've got the transfer portal. We got guys coming. We got guys going. It's turned into kind of some crazy, even more than free agency. It's like 3-4 times a year guys can come and they can go. I just want to comment on the fact that you seem to do a really good job of letting the guys that leave go and focusing forward and filling those roles as best you can. And it seems like you look at the record, you're growing from 5 wins to 6 wins to 7 wins. And even in my opinion, one of the hardest times to put rosters together in the history of college football, just tip my cap to you and your staff for doing a great job of keeping these recruits in and interested and developing good talent so that we can put it on the field and be successful on the field. And also, can you talk about the success academically that you've had just in recent history?
Yeah, John, I appreciate you saying that. Hey, believe it or not, it's everybody, John and I agree on most things in life. We agree on most. We just joke on here.
As soon as we put these on, it gets a little different.
I think the rest of the world, I had out of college, had Division I coach tell me that it's chaos and that it's never going to be normal again just yesterday. And I disagreed with him. And you just said, hey, it's kind of chaos. And I disagree. And hopefully it doesn't get like that in our football program. And maybe it's Utah. Maybe it's Utah, and maybe it's the religious influence, and kids stay here and they want to be here and they're not leaving the state. Maybe that's part of it that's kept it normal for us. We believe in treating the young men the right way, on and off the field. We have a culture of honesty here, and if the young man can take our coaching staff being honest with him and he can be honest back with us, I think it goes a long, long ways. As for what happened to us, we had 12 players. We had 12 players go in the portal, John, but the bottom line in the thing was only 3 or 4 of them mattered at all. That there were some in there that we were carrying, and you wish them well, and you don't wish any harm on any of them.
Like, go find another home that fits you best.
Good luck.
Yes.
Yeah, you didn't like it here. You weren't satisfied with something that was going on here. You know, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
But I've said it before, and I'll keep saying it. The portal giveth and the portal taketh away.
Yep.
John, as long as our coaching staff and our recruiting, and Darrius, our recruiting coordinator, as long as we can evaluate I said four. I said 3 or 4 mattered. Those 4 guys leave. If you can replace them with 4 guys that are better than them, well, then you're better off.
Absolutely.
You said that in this day and age, putting a roster together is harder than ever, and I'm disagreeing with you again. Putting a roster together is really, really easy. Building a relationship and trying to be a positive influence in a young man's life is harder than it's ever been, because if you don't play them immediately, you've neglected them, and they're going to jump ship. If you love them and coach them really, really hard, well, you've been too hard on them, and they're going to jump ship. So if they have success, they're going to jump ship. If they don't have success, they're going to jump ship. Building relationships and building young men is probably the hardest that it's ever been. Putting a roster together is easy. Coach Smith and I, we're turning down 25 kids a week. Yeah, filling a roster of 105 these days with the NCAA rules,
yeah,
pretty easy.
So
you talked about the accomplishments.
Yeah,
I ain't letting you get a word in edgewise.
I can see that. I can see that. Go ahead.
You talked about the accomplishments, and we're really proud. Hey, first year won 5, second year 6, last year 7. So we're building it that way on the field. We're a lot happier, and we brag a lot more off the overall GPA.
Yeah.
120 players last fall. We got a 3.18 overall GPA, which is accomplishing something in college football. And then we turned around last spring. We had 3,000. So 2,992 hours of community service hours, volunteer hours on this campus and in our town and in Iron County. Really, really excited about that. We have to be careful that we're never naive enough to think that what happens on Saturday is the only thing that matters.
That's a fact.
Yeah. Who our young men are off the field is about 75% of what matters.
We talked. I mentioned it earlier. Turning boys into men is a big part of this, but also giving them tools to be successful in life past football, bringing them along, teaching them sometimes hard lessons, sometimes tough love. You got to have a little bit of thick skin to be around this guy long enough. But the reality is, you're going to tell the truth, and if they'll tell the truth back, and you guys can get over the I don't know, maybe the awkwardness of that sometimes in communication. This is a phenomenal place to play your football. It's a phenomenal place to learn how to be a better human being, and I'm excited that you guys still have that fire in your bellies and the passion to keep on doing it. It's fun to be a part of it, and it's really fun to observe and watch these kids grow and graduate college, get degrees, and move on to other things in life. Sometimes it's football. Sometimes maybe an accountant or an engineer or a sales guy. It doesn't really matter, but they leave here being much better having been here.
They're going to spend a lot more time being adults,
yeah,
and trying to be successful adults than they are playing football.
Sure. Yep.
John, thank you.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for Coach Smith, Coach Fitzgerald. I'm Jon Smith, signing off.
Go Thunderbirds.
Go T-Birds.
Go Thunderbirds.